I don't know what's going on with Chuck. You know, we're just like everybody else. We're just waiting.
That show is just like nonstop sex and nudity, isn't it?
It really is.
Get ready for summer. We'll show you what styles will be hot on the beach this summer with a Brazilian influence and the shape you better be in to wear them.
From the famous Acme Theater in Hollywood, it's the Gregory Mantell Show.
Today, Scott Krinsky is here from Chuck on NBC, and later in the show, Tommy Dewey, he plays Matthew Perry's obnoxious boss in the hit movie 17 Again. He's one of the stars of the ABC family show Roommates. And then, summer is coming. Are you ready for the beach? Guys, we'll show you what you'll be wearing and what you better look like to make some waves of your own. But first up, Scott Krinsky from Chuck. Great to have you here today, Scott.
Thank you.
So how's everything at Buy More? You got your dream job here at the store. What's going on?
The Buy More is going. We're making it happen, and we're waiting to see what happens with season 3.
Well, how would you describe your character other than wild and crazy and?
Well, he's worked at the Buy More the longest.
Oh, he's the lifer at Buy More?
He's the lifer. He's the lifer guy at the
That's kind of depressing,
store.
Actually.
He can be a little bit of a depressing character, but he has hope. You know, he's been there 18 years.
18 years at Buy More.
But there's hope.
There's hope. So what is his dream then in life?
I think right now he's just happy to keep his job.
Keep a job.
You know, he's had some glory days, but now I think he's happy to be employed.
To be employed.
Yeah.
Well, and on that note, the show is in its second season now on NBC, and I guess they're waiting for the third.
Yeah, we're waiting. You know, we could hear any day.
But it's expected to. There was something about DirecTV or something.
That was with Friday Night Lights. I don't know what's going on with Chuck. You know, we're just like everybody else. We're just waiting. We don't know.
Now that show is by Josh Schwartz.
Yes.
And he was also the creator of the OC.
Exactly.
And you also were on OC?
Yes, I worked on the OC. I started. It was supposed to be one episode as a homeless guy.
Oh.
And apparently, I was a very funny homeless guy, and
well, you moved up. You went from homeless to working at Buy More. So maybe the next show, you'll be like the CEO or the president.
I like to think that he gave me a new identity. I took on a new name, and I got a job. I went from homeless to being employed.
It's always a good thing, especially as an actor too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're in good with Josh Schwartz, it sounds like.
I think so.
The whole networking thing there. But you also find time for stand-up, though.
Yeah.
So you're out doing various shows here around LA?
Yeah. Perform at the Comedy Store, at the Improv.
And you were just here at Acme, I think?
Yeah, I just hosted the Acme this week, Saturday night sketch show. That was really great.
So what'd you do for the Saturday night sketch show?
Well, I kind of opened the show, and then they wrote incredible sketches, and it's kind of, it was great. We did we had about 14 sketches. I was in about 7 of them.
7.
And we did a video. And
yeah, I think we've got a clip from you in one of this. So what are we going to see in that clip?
I play this character, Dr. They, and when you hear all those things where they say you should do this, they say you should do that. Well, I'm Dr. They that created all those theys.
They. So whenever I make the reference around here, they say, now we know that you're the guy. Huh? I wonder what they say you should do. So now you grew up in D.C.
Yeah.
And you really weren't involved in acting at all.
No, I went to school. I was a journalism major. I always took acting classes as a sort of electives, and but I never. I didn't think that it would be a viable career goal. I didn't, I wanted to get like a job, one that I could.
You listened to your father.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was listening to my parents. Get a real job, and but then after working a bit.
In fact, you interned at CNN, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I worked at CNN for a little bit, and then I was working for a production company after that, doing a lot of corporate videos, and then I just decided, what do I really want to do with my life? And I thought, well, I'll go chase this dream of acting.
From journalism to stand-up.
Yeah. I thought journalism, I could be on camera. I could be an on-camera broadcast journalist, and I could sort of be on TV and have a sort of a more regular job.
Did you try that?
A little bit. I mean, I interned. If I had sort of stuck with it.
We'd be seeing you on CNN instead of Chuck?
I think, yeah, we could have seen me on CNN.
So what would you be doing on CNN though? Would you be
well, it was an interesting job. I mean, I got to go to the Capitol. I got to follow reporters to the Capitol, to the White House, and help them write stories.
I'm just imagining you're interviewing people like the president, you know, Mr. Come on, you know you'd be doing some stand-up or something during the interview.
Yeah,
right?
it could have been, you know.
I would just mess up, go a little more Phil Spector with the hair, you know, that, or not like the weatherman kind of thing or anything like that, or sports.
No, I didn't want to do weather.
No, not to do the weather.
But I wanted to move out to the weather. I wanted to move out to the good weather out here.
Is that what drew you to California then? Or,
yeah, I really, I wanted to move out west and, of course, you know, fulfill my dreams here.
And your parents knew that you threw away all of your education at
that
point, right?
I took many years of nagging from my parents, you know.
I bet they're happy now.
Yeah, I'm allowed to say that I told you so.
And you do often, right?
What?
You want to say it right now?
All the time, I told you so.
But now what's this about cooking? I understand you're big on...
Well, for a while when I was still needed to pay the bills, I went to a little culinary school out here for a little while, and I loved to cook.
Because I can't cook worth a damn, so...
I have a major sweet tooth. And so I did the pastry and bread program at this culinary school. And for a little while I was making cakes and working.
So if the acting, you know, there's always plan B, you could become the pastry chef.
Yeah.
You'll always be popular around here.
Yeah.
Like, actually, you know, I'd probably rather have you back as a pastry chef.
Well, that's my addiction. I am allergic to, or not allergic, addicted to chocolate, and probably allergic too because it makes me crazy. But
so is that what you do to prepare for the show? You just have a little bit of chocolate?
I ate some chocolate backstage. Other people have other methods. I just eat chocolate.
Well, that's better actually in this town, right? Stay with the chocolate, forget the crack, you know?
It's sort of a harmless addiction, right?
Now, let's see, but you also had, what, the Bad Puppets?
Yeah, that was my theater group. We did, in the 90s, I was with them, and we did about eight or nine shows. And
but these weren't actually puppets?
No, there was no actual puppets used. We, just the name, just a catchy name. People did come expecting puppets sometimes, and they were disappointed.
I want my money back. There's no puppet.
It was just us.
But it was some kind of comedy or stand-up comedy?
Yeah, it was a comedic theater group. I mean, most of the stuff we did was all comedic. We did a lot of adaptations of classics, like we did the Seagull, Chekhov the Seagull, but it was called the Rubber Chicken.
The Rubber Chicken.
And we did A Christmas Carol, and we all played multiple roles, and so it was a lot of fun.
So now I was, you know, trying to get my hands around the basic premise of Chuck, but it's like with this guy that somehow he got contaminated or sucked in this database in his brain, and he sees stuff. And
well, the images were in his computer, and then he subliminally absorbed them into his brain through his computer. They were sent through an email.
And now the CIA's like...
Well, now they know he is the computer, so he is now working with the government to help thwart terrorist plots.
But I thought they kind of wanted to off him at one point, though.
No, well, the Intersect is now...
The Intersect.
Yeah, that's what the computer is called in his head, is now out of his head.
And you're not involved with the CIA?
No,
you're just working at
I just work at Buy More. I'm
18 years and happy.
That intelligent.
Well, thank you very much, Scott Krinsky.
Well, thank you for having me.
We'll look forward to you on Chuck on NBC. Up next, Tommy Dewey from 17 Again and Roommates on ABC Family. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Dr. Thaddeus They, CEO of They Industries International, purveyors of common knowledge. If you know it, then they thought of it. But we don't just come up with common sense. My team of scientists puts it to the test. Like they say, don't go swimming for 45 minutes after eating. They say you shouldn't sit too close to the TV. They say you should floss twice a day.
And we are back. Joining me now is Tommy Dewey from 17 Again and Roommates on ABC Family. Pleasure to have you here today, Tommy.
Good to see you.
You got a hit here with 17 again.
Yeah, well, I can't really claim it as my hit. I think most of it is attributed to the Zac Efron phenomenon. But yeah, it's nice to be in the one of the hot movies.
Well, I'm sure that can't hurt the career any being in that.
No, and I got to work with a hero, Matthew Perry.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Zac Efron.
Well, he's my hero too.
Of course.
But Matthew, of course, from his Friends days, was a real comedic inspiration.
And you get to play his obnoxious, I can't say the real word, but his obnoxious boss.
Yeah, his obnoxious boss. I get to play obnoxious boss types.
A lot.
A lot, maybe too much, but it's fun. You know.
Now, where is
That are
this coming
lovable.
from? So are you're just playing yourself? Is that what you're saying? Just kind of like the
No,
obnoxious?
I'm a very sweet person.
Very sweet.
Yeah. I'm a really good guy.
So what was it like working with Matthew Perry, though, since he's one of your heroes?
It's great. I mean, he's just a real pro. You know, he's sort of in the zone at all times. So you just try to sort of sit back and watch people like that.
Were you a big Friends fan? And
Sure, yeah, and he was my favorite on the show because he has gotten a chance to play those sort of like sarcastic, jerky sort of characters that you still like and appreciate and stuff like that. So I find myself.
well, in fact, your show, Roommates, is kind of a takeoff on
It
Friends,
is. It
right?
is sort of Friends-esque. So I probably steal from him without knowing it. You know, he just has a way with a line. You know that a lot of actors don't have.
So you learned a lot working with him?
Yeah, it's great.
Now, what about Zac Efron? What was he like? Did you?
Well, I only met Zac a couple times because I'm not in his. You know, Matthew Perry wakes up and he's Zac Efron's age. So when you're in the Zac parts of the story, I don't exist. But I did meet him a few times at table. He's a really nice guy. You know, and he has a lot of screaming fans.
All 12-year-old girls, right?
Well, I was just talking to somebody about it. Yeah, I don't know what the age range is.
Right? Are you followed around by the 12-year-old girls
No.
too?
Oh, I thought you meant, am I one of his screaming fans?
Yeah, of course.
Which
Well, I
that's
know you're one
true,
of his
too.
screaming fans. Of course, that's just a given.
Yeah.
But,
No, I actually went to the premiere and I screamed when Zac showed up, and then I put on my suit and walked the red carpet.
What did you
afterwards.
scream? Oh, Zac, I love you.
But no, he couldn't be a nicer guy and really talented. He's really good in the movie. He's gonna go places.
Weren't there a lot of weird Freudian things, if you really think about it, though? You know, like his mother is hitting on him, or I mean, I'm sorry, not the mother, but the wife, but then she's kind of like the
Right, it's actually
neighbor,
his
you know.
ex-wife, but hitting on him as a 17-year-old.
Yeah, and so
I
then
tried
it's all
not to
kind
think
of
too much
weird.
about what all that meant, but it's Leslie Mann, who's just a gorgeous, amazing actor. So you actually kind of root for that relationship in the.
I know it's kind of weird. You're sitting there thinking this is kind of twisted. This is kind of sick.
Yeah,
but,
sketchiness aside, you end up sort of wanting them to make out.
And thus we get to Roommates. That show is just like nonstop sex and nudity, isn't it?
It really is. Seeing it cut together now, I'm like, I forgot we had that much sex on this show.
You know, I watched a clip there were several clips on YouTube and Hulu and stuff, and it was
But-
like, and literally, we were joking about this beforehand, but it's like, so everybody, I think I'll have sex right now today, and then the other guy walks in and says, okay, well, when you're done having sex, I'll have sex, and then somebody else walks in and says, okay, and then I'm going to go have sex, and it was like every other word, and this is ABC Family. And it's
Right.
Like every
There's
other word
something
is
a little
sex.
off-brand about the thing. The nice thing is that they let us go for it. You know, we didn't get a lot of standards and
You mean
practices.
the sex, or?
Yeah, we have. It's all real sex on them. No.
I was going to say, you know, if this weren't ABC Family, we'd be thinking porn, but okay. But
Oh yeah, well it's a comedy. Everyone knows that, right?
But they are
it's been a
pushing
no
the-
hold barred thing. I think they're just trying to. I think the idea there is that they want to create these bridge shows that take you from that sort of Disney World, which is obviously an ABC company,
Yeah.
into big ABC, and this is sort of hitting that late teens, 20s.
But their
crowd.
movies are all like G still, right? I mean, they're all like Bambi or something. But yet the cable network, though, I guess is going more.
Yeah,
they're going for.
I don't know. I guess because they're in that cable world in prime time.
And you're taking them there. In fact, I liked your quote where you said, "God gave you this body to have sex." And that's
Oh, right.
what-
That's James.
That was
the
your
character.
opening line in that-
right,
that
right.
episode.
That's not a Tommy Dewey quote. That's a character quote. Although I've probably said that too on a date.
And since your show is Roommates, though, I also saw an interview though where you said that you are hell to live with. You're a pain in the ass to live with.
Well, I think I was in my early 20s, which was the last time I actually
Right, now you
had
don't
a
have
roommate.
roommates.
No. And I spared everyone by moving into a place of my own. I'm just very peculiar about certain things, and small stuff becomes so huge to me.
Such as?
Just like piles of dishes and the.
Oh, so you're the person who.
I'm the person that gets annoyed by the other roommates too easily.
But
And-
you get annoyed by the pile of dishes.
Right. So I'm not the one that stacks the dishes up. I'm
Oh,
actually
okay. Oh,
pretty-
so you're the neat freak.
Sort of, but I don't know.
Well, you'd be pissing me off if you're the neat freak. So
I think I just have to have a certain, and I like, if I need to be alone or I need it to be quiet, I want
Everybody
to have
out.
that option, And if I lived in a tiny place in New York with 5 roommates, and there was never any alone time,
So you have some roommate horror stories from there, or just?
You could just hear everything because we put up temporary walls, so you can just fill in the blank there. But it was a very
Kind of like ABC Family.
not very well insulated. Yeah, no, I've got a lot to draw on. Yeah.
You know. So, but now, besides the movie and the show, you're working on in fact, the day when we talked on the phone before
Yep.
the interview, you were heading off to the edit bay.
And I actually wrapped that night. I locked the picture that night.
You locked the picture. So this is a pilot for Fox.
Yeah, I'm writing, producing a pilot for Fox called Sons of Tucson, and we're in those last days of sort of waiting to see if it's going to get picked up or not. Just tying up the loose ends.
And this is some kind of takeoff on the Enron thing?
It's a half-hour comedy. It sort of starts in Enron world. These 3 kids, their dad goes to prison for an Enron type of scandal, so they skip town and end up in Tucson, where he kept a sort of secret hidden investment home, and they hire this hustler to play their dad.
Play dear old dad.
Yeah, so it becomes a sort of screwed up family comedy where there's this fraud over the whole thing. And we got this great actor, Tyler Labine, who's coming off the show Reaper.
And so, besides starring in this, you're writing it, producing it?
I'm not starring this. I'm only writing, producing
you're not
this
in
one.
it?
Right.
Why aren't you
I'll
in
write
it?
myself. Well, I have to do
You're
roommates.
producing it. Why aren't you? Oh, so has that been picked up then for the?
So both things hang in the balance now. So I'll have to do some sort
Well,
of.
if it doesn't, write yourself into the other one.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's 100% the plan. Yeah.
But on Roommates, though, so you're coming back for it would be the 3rd season coming up, right?
It would be the 2nd season coming up.
Second
So we're
season.
just wrapping the first one. Well, we wrapped in December, and they're still airing. So yeah, we'll see.
But I mean, this has been quite a change for you because you grew up in Alabama.
I did.
How did you stumble into this whole?
Well, I went to school in the Northeast. Ended up in New York doing some theater and some commercials and stuff like that. And New York wasn't really the place for me, so I thought I'd give.
You did Guiding Light in New York?
I did.
So what do you think about it being canceled?
Is it canceled?
I'm not really. The producers are dying, and you're laughing.
No. I hate to laugh. I mean, shows get canceled all the time.
It's funny.
I just didn't know it was. Hadn't it been on for like 85 years? It was a radio show.
Yeah. Big news this summer. Guiding Light canceled.
No, I'm mourning its passing. Actually,
Okay,
it was
very
a
sad,
nervous
I can tell.
laughter.
Yeah. As he laughs.
I was hoping to get back on it, but no, it was actually great. You learn really quickly in this, and I only did 6-7 episodes of it. As sort
But
of
then you went onto the mountain on the WB?
Yeah, that was the first big gig where I was steadily employed over several months, and that was a blast.
Did you play the obnoxious jerk on the mountain too?
I was a little sweeter, but with an obnoxious edge. Obnoxious is the wrong word, but jerky is right. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll look for Tommy Dewey, the jerk, on Roommates, and it's 17 again. Up next, get ready for summer. We'll show you what styles will be hot on the beach this summer with a Brazilian influence and the shape you better be in to wear them. We'll be right back. And we are back. Joining me now is David Laing, designer of the boyRio swimwear line. We're going to show you what looks will be hot on the beach this summer, some Brazilian styles that sizzle. And are you ready to wear them? Great to have you here today, David.
Again. Thank you.
So what is different about Brazilian swimwear? What is the Brazilian influence?
Well, the Brazilian influence is that basically the cut, surprisingly, is not as skimpy as one would think. When I thought of Brazil, I would think immediately of a thong or a string.
Yeah, because I thought they're pretty wild and real on the beaches.
And when I first went down there, this was several years ago, I realized that the people that were actually wearing that style were actually American tourists or Europeans.
It was you.
Yeah, exactly. Lame. So no, but what I did learn was the actual Brazilians had a different cut, which is more flattering, and you could tell who was Brazilian and who wasn't by what they were wearing. And so this is basically a cut that's been around for a long time, but you'll see that it's really flattering.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to this. We've never done a fashion show
I'm
before,
excited.
So
this is awesome.
This is going to be our first run here. So let's
Okay.
take a look at the first one. What have you got here for us?
Well, we're going to have Todd come out here. And Todd's wearing our new swimsuit called Lagoa, which represents the true Brazilian style. You'll see on those sides here, it's got a little bit more coverage than a traditional Speedo. And square in the back with a little bit of roundness and lift.
So what is it about the sides then?
The sides, you can see that it's a little bit wider, so it's not like a Speedo where it's like really thin on the top. Because if you have a Speedo on that's really thin on the top, everything on the side's going to hang out, and you're not going to get the support in the back. So you notice on his back side, you're going to get a really good support.
So you think it's actually a better fit or better shape to have the wider on
Exactly. And you could still, if you feel that's a little too much coverage, you can scrunch it down. So you can still, sex it up if you want. All right.
Okay.
Well, let's go ahead and have Max come out here. And Max has got a sarong on here, what they wear at the beaches there in Brazil. And Max is wearing one of our most popular models. This is the Carmen Racer. This is actually a new color for us, which is the navy blue. It's a little bit lower cut than one that we just shown, but this one's a really popular one as well. So very good. Very nice.
I'm going to go on Slim Fast after this show.
I know.
Does anybody have any Slim Fast for me?
All right.
Just occurs to me, I don't think I'm ready for the beach for this summer.
All right, and Todd's wearing one of, we've actually diversified a collection this year, so we've got board shorts, finally. So if you're not
This is like the California thing, right, the board shorts?
Yeah, and we got different lengths too, and we got one we're going to come out with, but this one's kind of got a real American look to it. Our look is pretty much, American Boy Next Door meets the boy from Ipanema Beach. So
do they wear this in Brazil?
They do, yes. Yep, they do wear that, and sometimes they wear it as a cover-up. All right. Next up here, this is, we're excited about this one. This is the Retro Swim Trunk line. It's about 10.5 inches in length, pockets in the back and the side. And not everyone's going to feel comfortable wearing this, but I think it looks really good on you, sir. So
now, when you, so what I mean, just what
Yeah.
is too.
What
the flowers or what? I mean, what do you think they won't feel comfortable with?
Well, some of customers are not comfortable with a tighter fit. They like a little bit looser.
Okay. Actually, I thought that one looked a little bit looser than some of them. But.
Yeah, it is definitely looser than what we've been showing. But the thing that you have to take into account is the height of the person. I'm rather short, so I would want a shorter board short if I want to show more leg. So it kind of depends on your height as well, like what you're comfortable
I just realized actually probably not Slim Fast. I think it's liposuction.
You know what? They have these things in Brazil where you can take these lipo vacations. It's a package where you can fly down there, you recover on the beach. I'm
when
not
you
kidding
hear
you.
I'm
It's
going
like
to
a third of the
Brazil,
price.
you know why. And then I'll come back, then I'll wear the swimsuits, I'll be ready.
Yeah, I know. Let's go.
So I know, but you've, the way you came up with this line, you've been doing quite a bit of traveling now lately down to Brazil.
Absolutely, yeah. Almost twice a year now. Initially started on vacation, and that's kind of where it started.
Well, I grew up hearing about Brazil because my sister was an exchange student down there, and I haven't gone. I've always wanted to go, and I always hear again, how wild carnival is.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing, though, you still hear about Brazil is crime.
Right.
So what do you say about?
Well, my take on that is I've had plenty of vacations, safe vacations down there, wonderful time, wonderful people. And I have heard of the horror stories, and unfortunately, I did have
a horror story.
I did have a horror story. Unfortunately, this was like 2 years ago. I was in a situation where I met somebody, and they didn't meet the profile, at least I thought in my head, of what a criminal was or looked like. And long story short, robbed, escorted onto a bus through Copacabana in some like bad area, trying to
You were kidnapped.
Yes, and exactly. And I had to come up with money, and it was a nightmare. So, but I got through it. Nothing happened to me, but I learned a lot, and I know to
what did you learn?
Well,
I want to go to Brazil, but I don't want to get kidnapped.
You just got to be really careful. One of the things was I was by myself at the time, and
go in large groups. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Knife up a little bit,
Knife, okay. Weapons.
No,
guns,
light's always a good thing, stuff like that. So anyway, what kind of got me through it was basically understanding that it wasn't my fault. I really kind of felt the whole victim thing.
So you were trying to help somebody who needed help.
I was really, and I fell for it, and I learned from it. Thankfully, nothing happened to me, and I forgave the person.
And without getting too specific, though, but I mean, you said there was ransom or something involved, or
it wasn't. a whole lot of money, but I mean, it was quite a lot.
And were the police ever involved, or?
Well, that was the problem. Was like
Arnold didn't come and rescue you, or?
Yeah, exactly. There was like,
No.
you're in a foreign country. It's like, they don't, sometimes they're not available. Although I will give them some
Call back
credit.
later. We're not available right
Yeah, no. When I went down there this last time, I mean, they were everywhere. So, so it's always good to be with groups and to just make sure that you play safe as far as having fun in Carnival is great, but watch your stuff.
Of course, another problem you hear about Brazil is with the kids on the street, and I know you're involved with the charity task.
Yes, yeah. Unfortunately, poverty is it's a pretty tough issue down there, and
Everybody's either rich or poor.
Exactly, and unfortunately, a lot of the victims are the children, and so that's why we partnered up with the Abandoned Street Kid Trust, and portion of our sales go toward that organization, and we've actually been working with them for a while. So when somebody invests in a swimsuit, they also invest in the charity as well. So
well, that's a good
really
cause.
important to us.
And you're also searching for the new face of boyRio?
Yeah, we're announcing it here. We are looking for the new fresh face of boyRio for 2009. And folks can email us at models@boyrio.com, but we're planning on doing some events on the East Coast and West Coast. Also looking for the new boyRio, face of boyRio, but we're also going to look for somebody to represent our underwear campaign, which we're going to
Oh, because you're branching out
Yeah,
underwear then.
yeah.
And so anything in particular you're looking for in the next boyRio?
Just kind of like a well-rounded person, and if you think you've got what it takes, self-confidence is really key, but being a well-rounded person is really key. So,
All right.
yeah.
Well, I'll look forward to.
You're going to send in your profile? I mean,
Like I said, slim fast and liposuction. Then I'll send in the.
Okay. And then the swimsuit. No.
Yeah. Then you'll
That
see.
order.
Yeah, extreme makeover. I think I better go on that.
Yeah.
Body edition. I don't
Should do
know.
Brazilian extreme makeover.
Biggest Loser. I don't know. One of those reality shows I'll have to go on.
Yeah.
Then I'll be ready for the beach.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you very much. Good luck with
I
the
appreciate it.
line, David
Yeah, I'm
Laing,
excited
and
about
with
it.
the charity. And I'd also like to thank Max Wettstein and Todd McCullough, our models today. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.